What's going on, guys? This is Matt from UpLaunch. We're going to knock out our first feature Friday I guess one day early, right? Because it's Thursday afternoon. So we're going to jump into the dashboard and talk a lot about what the app is doing and how everything's going to kind of work, the philosophy behind the client lifecycle and things like that. And just kind of give you a quick tour. I'm hoping to keep this to 5 to 7 minutes because honestly we could dive in for hours, but there's a lot of different stuff that we are going to get into over the next few weeks as we do these weekly videos. So let's get started. All right. Before we dive into the app itself, I want to just kind of talk about the philosophy behind the design a little bit. All right. One of the biggest things that we kind of hold near and dear to our hearts when we're designing software is prioritizing action and prioritizing the speed with which you can take that action. Right? There's a lot of ways we can waste time. I was listening to a podcast about this morning, right? Where, people get distracted like an average of every 3 minutes, and it can take some astronomical number like 21 minutes to get back on task. It's crazy. We're all Facebooking and email checking and doing all this stuff, right? On Facebook right now. So there's a lot of different things that pull us in a lot of different directions. So the goal with this software is not to maximize the amount of time that you spend using it. In fact, I'm actually looking at that metric to make it the opposite way, right? I want you to not spend a lot of time logged in as long as the productivity and the things that you're accomplishing with the software is still really high. So that's kind of the thought process as we go through. The other thing that I kind of want to lay out, and a lot of this is the brainchild of Jake and Mike, is the way that we're breaking down the client lifecycle, right? So imagine we move in stages, right, from the time that you're a brand new lead submitting a form on your website or calling you on the telephone, all the way through, being an established high value member of your gym for many years, and then potentially also into the space where, someone may have actually left membership and, we need to try to remarket to them as well. So we move through this entire life cycle. We break it up into 3 main stages, right? Leads, clients, and former clients. It's kind of a really easy way to break things down. And within that, we've got segments kind of each life cycle stage. So within our leads, we break them down into new leads, right? Which is basically a lead in their first 2 weeks of existence. There's a lot of data that backs up that we need to really hit these people hard with more, I hate to use the word aggressive, but that's almost what it is, like more aggressively paced marketing plan where we're calling them more frequently, providing them with a greater volume of content within that first 2-week period in order to kind of really grab them, get them in the gym, get them excited about what they're doing. If they still haven't converted to a member after 2 weeks, generally they're less likely to do so, so we move them into another segment called pending leads, right, where we still have a chance to convert them, but they don't deserve as much of your staff's time and effort as a brand new lead would get. We still market to them, we still follow up with them, just we dial back the pace a little bit. And then we really let them ride in that pending lead stage until the 12-week mark, at which time we move them to inactive leads. So you'll see those 3 kind of predefined segments within your leads: new, pending, and inactive. If you have any questions or comments about this stuff as we go through, I've got my phone down here, so I'll see the comments pop up and I can address them as we roll through this thing. With clients, another thing that really Mike and Jake have been really harping on, and I think it's great, is the new client experience. Hopefully you guys watched Mike's video that he put up yesterday, talking about how that's really what he's passionate about, is the experience of that new client. And so we've got an entire campaign specifically dedicated to crafting the client experience throughout the first 90 days. We do a lot of stuff with them in those first 90 days, right? We're going to obviously send them a lot of content, schedule monthly outreach calls with whichever staff member you guys designate, and also solicit them for things like feedback. We'll gauge their satisfaction with the gym, how likely they are to recommend it to one of their friends. We'll solicit them for referrals, all kind of built into the campaign. So it's really going to kind of run itself as long as we keep up on the tasks that we generate, and we're going to dive a lot more into the campaigns as we go through things, all right? But we do a lot of stuff with these new members within that first 90 days. And then after the 90-day period, we move them into a segment called established clients, which again is still getting nurtured. We're still sending them information and whatnot, but we're not really forming their initial experience, right? Because a positive experience in those first 90 days will hopefully translate into an increased retention rate for you guys. All right, so that's like the client journey at a very, very zoomed out high level, right? We've got our leads, we've got our clients, and then of course we've got our former clients, which really we just break down into two categories: pending cancellations, which is someone who submits the cancellation form but their membership is not yet expired, and then former clients. Some of the naming may still be up for grabs. We're still kind of discussing it and how we might, maybe develop some further segments in the future, but that's generally the context that we're operating within. So the reason I want to do that up front is because it kind of will give context to the way that the dashboard's designed, and so that's the deal. All right, we're going to log in. I'm going to check this thing out. So obviously, I always use Jake's Gym as my guinea pig. So we've got our CrossFit Gettysburg logo up here. Once your account's established, we'll put your logo front and center on the homepage, so you'll be good there. We'll go ahead and log in. I apologize in advance. I have literally the loudest keyboard on planet Earth. And we'll check out our dashboard, all right? So again, we're prioritizing action and the speed at which you can take it, right? So of all the segments and life cycle stages that I just described, there's really only a couple of segments that take a lot of manual outreach and a higher degree of manual outreach to properly manage: your new leads, your new clients, and your pending cancellations. So instead of putting like, hey, you've got 112 leads and you've got 250 members, putting that at the top, like those are metrics that make you feel good, but they're not necessarily driving action, right? So we want to make sure that we're driving action with everything that we show you on this dashboard, especially the stuff right at the very top. All right, so what this will do, and we're still kind of working out our filtering and whatnot, but you'll be able to click on these buttons and it'll bring up a pre-filtered list of all your contacts that fit into that category. So if you want to check out all your new leads on one screen, you can do it with a single click. Same thing for any clients in their first 90 days. You can bring that up, and of course any pending cancellations that you may want to reach out to and get that done. So I've just been notified that I forgot to click the button. So hopefully you guys have vivid imaginations. Hey, there's a dashboard. So yeah, neat. Facebook Live screen sharing rookie right here. Yeah, someone's laughing at me. I love it. All right, so hopefully we can give some context to the stuff that I just pretended to show you. So we've got our new leads, our new clients, and our pending cancellations right here at the top. I promise I'm better at writing code than I am at doing Facebook Live, hopefully. All right, so you'll be able to click these three buttons. You'll be able to check that stuff out. It'll bring up pre-filtered lists of the contacts like we talked about, and we'll be good to go there. All right, we have our notification bar up here across the top. So like right now it's showing you that you have one overdue task and two tasks that are due today. You can also of course see them right here in the dashboard. And you've got your little user icon, so we can check this out, dig into your profile, preferences, setting your appointment availability, blocking out specific dates, and things like that. All right, we've got our menu over here to the side. That'll be there on every single screen, so you can always get to whatever you need to. And again, on future live streams, we're going to dig into all these different menu options and stuff like that. So, all right, we talked about the segments. Let's scroll down into this little area right here. So basically on your dashboard, it's going to show you all the things that you've got to do today. All right, any overdue tasks, any tasks that are due right now, today, and any appointments for the day. So the whole idea again is that we're prioritizing the stuff that we show you. We can always drill down, and I'm gonna build in some filtering right on the dashboard. Like if you want to look at other people's tasks or tasks for the upcoming week, we'll build that in so you can change that, but it's always going to default to the stuff that affects you. All right, and remember that this is a multi-user application now once we migrate you guys over. So your staff members will log in and their dashboard will default to only the things that affect them, and so on and so forth, right? So everything can be done from the dashboard, and this is something that we felt really strongly about implementing early. Right? We don't any longer have to go to, like here, Jake Johnson, I put him in as a contact. We don't have to go to Jake's contact record and then look at the big blue task and click the button and do all that kind of stuff. We can do it right here from the dashboard. So for instance, if we want to take action on this task as checkup after injury, this is an example of a manual task that you could put in. Put in a little note: Jake hurt his foot on a partner WOD last week. Give him a call, see how he's feeling. Should have been done 6 days ago. All right, whoops, but that happens. So we can take some action, right? So what do we want to do? Here's the different actions that we can take right now. All right, we can make a phone call, We can make an appointment. That doesn't really make sense in this context, but you can do that off of any task that you have. You can send him an email, you can send him a text message, and then we can mark our outcome, right? So let's say we want to call Jake, right? I'm going to make a phone call. It tells you his phone number right here at the top, and we can leave notes on what happened on this phone call. You know, called Jake, said his foot hurts, right? Cool. Sorry, Jake. Save the note, get a little notification, excuse me, that the note saved. And if you take a look down here on the activity feed, Jake Johnson was contacted via phone by Matt Verlack. We called Jake, and he said his foot hurts. So everything's up right there, good to go. All right, we'll talk more about the activity feed here in a minute. So once we get things done, there's a lot of different things, a lot of different ways we can mark an outcome. So we're going to talk a lot more about what we call objective-oriented tasking, because really it's a lot more than just a to-do list where you check things off. Right? That doesn't do anything for anyone. You know, if your task is to call Jake and I call him and he doesn't answer and I check the task off, like, that's neat, but we didn't actually reach out to Jake. Jake doesn't know that we remember that he hurt his foot. He doesn't know that we value him. We're not building that relationship. So if he didn't pick up, we could hit try again later, and we can go ahead and reschedule this thing. So we'll reschedule it for today. We'll pretend that, you know, he didn't pick up the phone, didn't answer, reschedule task, super simple, and now here's that same task, but now it's due today, no big deal, all right? Say we get it done properly, same thing, we can say task accomplished, Jake loves us, cool, mark is complete, task goes away, and everything here is on the account-wide activity feed and also on his contact record, so you'll know exactly what's going on at all times with any of your contacts. All right, I'm going to show you something cool. Being that this is multi-user, I'm just looking off onto my other monitor here so I can pull this up. Being that this is a multi-user app, it was really important that we build notifications so that way you can keep track of what your other coworkers are doing from their accounts, right? So let's say you've got another user who's going to email Jake, all right? Let's keep an eye on this activity feed here. So on another screen, I'm logged in as somebody I'm logged in on another browser window. I've got Jake's contact record open. Let's say I sent him an email. It says the subject line is, "Hey, what's up, Jake?" Put some content in there. Sorry, I locked this thing up. I accidentally closed my window over here. Give me one sec. Hey, what's up, Jake? All right. So I did that from a separate window over off to the side, and you can see that you still got the notification on your screen and the activity feed still updated. So the cool thing is that when you guys are in here working, or if you have like a front desk computer you leave this thing up on, if someone else is working from home, like you guys as an owner or one of your coaches, you'll still get notifications real time when things take place, and the activity feeds will still update. So it's kind of neat. All right. Other things for completing tasks, I really think it's pretty simple for the most part. We're going to go into making appointments, but this right here is an acuity killer. You're no longer going to have to use that. We'll be able to make custom appointment types and use it for whatever else you need. But just to give you a quick show of how it works, you can pick an appointment type. Let's say you're scheduling a first visit appointment for this contact. We pick a date. I've got some availability loaded in. So let's say I'm available on Saturday 6/10. Pick a time. He wants to come in at 6 a.m. View confirmation. I'm booking an appointment for Rick House with Matt Verlack. Here's the date and time, June 10th, 6 a.m. Confirm appointment. Done deal. All right. Remember, that's for a different day, so it's not going to show up here on the dashboard. This is only today's. But if you look at your activity feed, Rick House booked a first visit appointment less than a minute ago with Matt Verlack, June 10th, 6 a.m. All right, so everything's rocking and rolling. What else can we do from tasks? We'll get more into some of this other stuff in future videos, but we can send an email. We got full HTML emails. You can put pictures in, all that kind of stuff. In addition to being the replacement for Acuity, we're also looking to make it so you don't have to keep using MailChimp. right? Matt, another Matt, who's our lead developer and pretty much a super genius, has built in a bulk email set up for this whole thing, so you can like create groups, custom groups, whatever you want to call them, assign different contacts, different groups, hit them with bulk emails like newsletters, all from the same kind of editor. So you can send emails right from a task. You can send a text message right from a task. Everything's up and rocking and rolling, and you can do it all without leaving the dashboard. So the nice thing is, even if your staff members log in and they have 15 tasks that they have to do, that's good for you because it means you're getting a lot of leads. They can do it all without leaving this entire screen, right? Think about it. They could try to call someone, they don't pick up, leave a note. They could send them a follow-up text or a follow-up email. They could book an appointment for them if they need to, and then if they didn't accomplish the mission of the task, they can kick it down the road and reschedule it. If they did, they can mark it as completed, all without leaving the dashboard, all without clicking through the app. They know exactly what they need to do, and they can do it right from here. All right, so that's kind of a big deal. I'm pretty excited about that. The other stuff at the bottom of the dashboard is kind of less action-oriented and more metrics-oriented. We want to make sure that we can still give you a really good glimpse into the health of your business. And the cool thing about having all the data stored in our database is we can do all sorts of cool stuff with it as far as like how we compute things and how we do like multi-layered metrics. I'm really going to geek out pretty hard on the metrics when we get there. So it's going to be a lot more than like this little snapshot you see right here. But we can kind of surface all sorts of stuff. So different statistics that we put right here on the dashboard, like your total leads, and then we put a breakdown, new leads, pending, inactive, same kind of thing for each of the main life cycle stages, total clients, the ones who are within their first 90 days, and then the ones who are established, how many total cancellations you've had, how many of them are still pending, and then how many are in the former clients bucket right there. So all that stuff is there, and these view buttons will work exactly the same way that these buttons up top work, where it'll just bring up a contact list with pre-filtered or the filter already applied, so you can see just that segment that you want to see. Last but not least for the dashboard is the info center. We are working really, really fast. Like we're not, doing major feature releases where we don't work on the software at all for 2 months and then we give this crazy update that changes everything. Instead, we are staying a little bit more agile, where we will just push little bug fixes and little tweaks and little dashboards or little features, probably weekly or bi-weekly, up to production, which lets us kind of adapt to your feedback a lot faster. Part of that, though, is making sure that we communicate the things that we tweak and the things that we fix. And so one of the things we put in this info center are release notes. Nothing really fancy or overly technical. It's just like going to be a little bulleted list of the stuff that we've fixed or the different features that are coming and that kind of stuff. We can also put up some blog posts if we think there are things that you guys will find interesting. I know Mike's got some ideas for that. And I'm also kind of thinking maybe we can give you guys like a form where I know a lot of you guys are really talented writers and you write stuff for the industry, where maybe we can help you guys promote your content too, where you could submit a blog post in, Mike will check it out, and then he can actually put it up in the info center so that way other people can check out your content and have a look. So I think that'd be kind of neat. All right. I promised I was going to try to keep this short. I have no idea how long we've been rolling, but that is the dashboard. If you guys have any questions, please post them in the comments real quick and I will get them answered. But other than that, I think we're good for right now. I think for next week, we'll probably dive into the tasking philosophy, about like a little more about how tasks work, how we think it's going to affect the workflow of you guys and your staff members, how the campaign generated tasks are going to work and things like that. So if there are no questions, then I guess we'll wrap this thing up. I know we said this last week, but I want to just kind of re-emphasize it. We're trying to build the ultimate tool to manage a small business, right? And we're starting with you guys. So once we go to market, it's not really the end. Like it's not really crossing a finish line. It's more like crossing a starting line. We've got a list of like post-release features that we're going to start working on that's a mile long. But the cool thing about running an agile team and being able to push these updates every couple of weeks is that we can pivot on those goals based on your feedback, right? So I definitely want this to kind of be a two-way street, to have you guys have open lines of communication like you've always done, like you've done for the past 8 or 9 months. let us know what you like, let us know what you don't like, because especially if it's something that's highly requested, we can always bump it up the priority list and make it happen. It's a nice thing about me and the other Matt being the only two guys punching code on this thing, right? We can make it do whatever we need to. So thank you. As always, we really appreciate you guys taking the time to check this out and stick with us. And we're going to build some awesome stuff. So we appreciate everything, and we will definitely be in touch. Feel free to reach out with any questions or comments, guys. I appreciate it. See ya.